it is the 29th of February today, yeah, which doesn't happen often, and it is it's the Oscars. Well, it's not Oscars day, but it's the day that I'm going to see the Oscars. It is 10 in the morning. Just woke up, feel very groggy. My lips probably look like E.T. when he's about to die, as Connie says to me frequently. But it is time to do my Oscar predictions. I don't know why I didn't get around to doing it sooner. I just didn't, basically. But I haven't seen anything that's happened. I went to bed early last night. Connie made sure I didn't watch it. She made sure I didn't see who won, anything like that. She was very adamant that I watched it with her, which I like. But she, of course, after adamantly making sure that we didn't see anything, first thing she did this morning was go on Facebook, and of course she saw, and I'm sure I know what she saw. It's pretty obvious what she probably saw, but I haven't seen anything. So I got my predictions here. I posted them up on Instagram actually, so I did kind of post them, but just not a video. So I'm going to just quickly go through these, and I'll give you my reaction after we've watched it. Also, I've entered into a staff Oscar predictions contest with a movie website I work for, so got a bit of money riding on this, but I don't think there's just so many of them I wasn't sure about, so I don't think I'll get anywhere with that, but it's fun. So, best picture I think will be The Revenant, and I'll tell you who I think and who I want. Best picture, and who maybe should have won, who isn't even nominated probably in most cases. So best picture, The Revenant I think will win. I don't think any other film has a chance. Maybe Spotlight, but I'm sure it's going to be The Revenant. I would have, out of all of them, preferred Room or Brooklyn maybe to win. Actually, no, Room's a lot better, but I did love Brooklyn. Yeah, Room. But what should have won, Inside Out, still the best film of 2015 for me. Best actor, Leonardo DiCaprio will win without a doubt. I probably would have preferred Michael Fassbender to win, to be honest. I think Leonardo DiCaprio is a great actor. He was great in Revenant, but I think he's been in better films that he probably should have won an Oscar for before this. Best actress, I think Brie Larson will win. I want Brie Larson to win, but I'd be happy with Saoirse Ronan winning as well. And yeah, no qualms about that category really. If Cate Blanchett wins, I will be very confused. Best director, I think Alejandro Inarritu will win for The Revenant. I think The Revenant's going to take loads, and I would probably prefer George Miller to win for that, for Mad Max. And again, no qualms about that one. Best supporting actor, I think Sylvester Stallone is going to win, but I didn't realise, or I didn't think about the fact before I put in my predictions, that he said recently that he was willing to boycott the Oscars if Ryan Coogler wanted him to. So I don't know if that's probably going to work against him, in which case I think Tom Hardy might win, but I'm going to go with Sylvester Stallone. But I think the best performance out of the supporting actors was Tom Hardy in The Revenant, but I would love Sylvester Stallone to win. Best supporting actress, I put Alicia Vikander. I think she should win as well. I would be more than happy with Rooney Mara winning as well. But I think that Alicia Vikander and Rooney Mara are lead actress roles, so I'm not sure whether in supporting actress, but hey, if it gets them a nomination, it gets them a nomination. Best original screenplay, I've gone with Spotlight, and I think that, you know, Steve Jobs probably should have been in there and maybe won, but you know, I'm going to go with Spotlight. Best adapted screenplay, I've gone with The Big Short. It just seems like that's the one that's going to win. No, best original screenplay, I would definitely want Inside Out to win, because that would be fantastic. I think that film just deserves more than best animated film. That's all I could say. But yeah, the thing is, I don't have all the nominees here. I'm trying to do this quickly so that we can start watching this. Best adapted screenplay, The Big Short. I can't remember what other ones are in there. Just say The Big Short. You know, we'll just move ahead. Production design, I went for The Revenant. Cinematography, The Revenant. I think that's got to be a lock, hasn't it? But I definitely think that the cinematography from Macbeth should have been at least considered, if not the winning film, because that film looks stunning. Best foreign film, I picked Son of Saul because everyone picks it and it seems to be winning everything. The only film I actually got to see from the foreign film category this year was Mustang, which was fantastic, but it was hard to find any of the other ones to watch this year, unfortunately. I think I managed to watch almost all of them last year. and the year before that. Original score, I went for the Hateful Eight, Ennio Morricone. I think he's going to win it just because he hasn't won one before. I thought his score for the Hateful Eight was brilliant. I loved it, but when you kind of look down at it, really, only half of that soundtrack is his music, I think, and the rest is songs and just dialogue from the film. You know, the film's like 3 hours long. I'm not saying he should have done more music, but for me, I don't know, I just feel like a more substantial score should win, and I really want the Force Awakens score to win for John Williams, because I just think it's a great score. I think it's a fantastic score. I think it's a beautiful score. That's all there is to it. It has little to do, well, I wouldn't say it has little to do with me being a Star Wars fan, but, you know, just from a musical standpoint, I think it's fantastic. But I don't think it'll win at all. I think it'll go to Ennio Morricone. Best animated film, Inside Out. There is no question about it. I'd be very surprised if anything else won, though I have to say it's been an embarrassment of riches this year in the animated film category. I've seen all of them. Even Boy in the World I'd be happy with winning, even though that's probably the one that has the least chance. Anomalisa, masterpiece, definitely were, you know, Shaun the Sheep. It was brilliant. I really, you know, there was another one as well. Bollocks. When Marnie Was There. That probably has actually the least chance of winning, because they hate Japanese films, and they don't really. Again, the animated film category is a joke in terms of the people who vote for them. That's a whole other video that I can rant about, but yeah, it'll definitely be Inside Out, and I'm glad for that, because, you know, it's the best one. Best costume design, I've gone with Mad Max Fury Road. Best visual effects, I've gone with The Force Awakens. My theory on this is that last year we had Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and Interstellar won, which had me scratching my head because Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was unbelievable. But Interstellar's a space movie, and Christopher Nolan made it, so I think that's why it's won. I mean, again, the visual effects for that film were great too, but I just think Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, I mean, that was just unbelievable. You know, that was like, this is like the new frontier almost, you know. For me, it just seemed like it changed everything. Like, I mean, they looked great before, the apes, but in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, that opening shot of Caesar, it was just like, holy shit, that fur, it just looked real, right? Anyway, so I'm just going to go with The Force Awakens, because I think that'll probably win over Ex Machina, which may be a bit more impressive, but they're going to be like, wow, it's, you know, it's Star Wars is a space movie. But I would love The Force Awakens to win. Best original song, just went with the writings on the wall, the Spectre song. I mean, I've got no clue. I haven't listened to any of them, except for that one when I saw Spectre, and I didn't really like it then. I think it goes alright with the movie, but as its own, didn't really like it that much. So I got no horse in that race. Film editing, I went with Mad Max Fury Road. I mean, the editing in that film was fantastic and really was just incredible. So I hope that wins, and I think it will. Best makeup, I went with The Revenant. I just got no idea with some of these ones where they're going to go, how they're going to judge it. Best sound editing, again, I went with Mad Max Fury Road, because the sound kind of went with the film editing to me. And then the sound mixing, I went with The Revenant, which I think is just going to be one that they'll win, just because it's The Revenant. The sound mixing, well, I don't know, because there's bits in The Revenant where it doesn't seem like the characters' mouths are matching what they're saying when they're speaking in the other language. So I wouldn't actually give it to them. I'd give it to probably The Force Awakens for sound mixing. I mean, the sound in Star Wars is incredible, but I just don't think it's going to win anything. So yeah, Mad Max Fury Road for editing, sound editing, The Revenant for sound mixing. Best documentary feature, I've only seen 3 of them, I think. Amy, What Happened, Miss Simone, and one of the other ones. And I went with Amy, that's my pick. It is the best one I've seen. I'm sure that The Look of Silence is much better, and I really want to see that, and I kind of really don't at the same time. It's the kind of follow-up or companion piece to The Act of Killing, which definitely should have won 2 years ago. But they don't really, I don't think they like to give the Academy Award to a documentary that really tackles something that is so dark and horrible about humanity. So I think they'll probably go with something more uplifting, even though again it's sad, it's about a woman who died, but more of a celebration of her life, I suppose. So I'm thinking it's going to go to Amy. And the Nina Simone one was very good, but I didn't feel myself liking Nina Simone all that much after I'd finished it, even though it was very sad and she was brilliant. Finally, we get to Best Documentary Short. I went with Body Team 12. That seemed to be the one that had the most acclaim. Best Short Film Live Action, I went for Shook, I don't know how you pronounce that. I literally just picked that out of nowhere. And Best Short Film Animated, I've actually seen one of these, and I'm going to pick that one, World of Tomorrow. I don't think it'll win. so I probably shouldn't have picked it, but I have seen it and it is brilliant from is it Don Hertzfeldt. I really loved it, so I hope it wins, but I think it's probably going to be one of the other ones, in which case I'll probably lose a point on my predictions thing. So there we go, that is it. About to watch it now, and I'll check back with you in a few hours when it's all said and done and give you my brief thoughts on it. There we go. Alright, brief break from the Oscars because our cat just threw up, unfortunately. So yeah, I got really excited at the beginning of this because the first 4 awards I got right. Best Supporting Actress, Best Original Screenplay, Best Adapted Screenplay, and what else did I get right? Costume Design, Mad Max. Then I went on a bit of a losing streak, unfortunately.
Someone else got on a winning streak?
Yeah, Mad Max is winning everything, so I think, I don't know, it might take Best Director and Best Film, in which case I'll be completely out of the running. Which is fine, you know, I think I've lost enough so far that I wouldn't be able to win anything, but, you know, it's all good.
Makes it more fun.
Film editing I got right, but sound editing, sound mixing, oh no, I got sound editing right, but not sound mixing. They gave them both to Mad Max. So yeah, my kind of prediction that they'd be giving The Revenant quite a few is kind of, yeah, not really gone to plan. And production design, again, went to Mad Max and not The Revenant. But cinematography did win for The Revenant, so I got 5 points there. So how many have I got? 6, that's 18, plus 5, 21, 24, 26, 28 points so far out of 100, and I've lost quite a few. So I don't know, it's all going to boil down to Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, Best Film. Those are the big ones that are going to make the big difference overall, as well as foreign film, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And supporting actor, we're now on visual effects, which I picked Star Wars. I think I probably shouldn't have picked it. They're probably going to give it to Mad Max. It seems to be winning absolutely everything. Also, I love the woman who won for costume design for Mad Max. Literally just walked onto the stage in a leather jacket with rhinestones on the back. She's awesome. Like, has anyone actually ever accepted an Oscar just wearing like street clothes and a leather jacket? Brilliant. And I'm pretty sure the guys who won for sound editing just came on and were like, fucking Mad Maxers! Like, just crazy Australians. And that's the thing. People go on about diversity and all this controversy about the Oscars. It's like, well, look at the Mexican cinematographer who's won the Oscar 3 years in a row now. Look at all these Australian people. But no, it's all about the color of people's skin, you know. And yeah, I kind of liked Chris Rock's opening. It really made me laugh a lot. But I think that they're pushing it a bit too far at this point, halfway through the show. But anyway, there's probably not much point getting involved in that discussion because it only gets you. Not in trouble, but just, you know, anything you say, people will just love to twist it. Anyway, right, so I wasn't planning on actually filming anything now, but seeing as we had a quick break, there we go, on with visual effects and the rest of the awards. Alright, the Oscars are done, and holy shit, I got 15 out of 24 of the awards right, which is pretty good. It's more than half, but it's definitely not enough for me to win the competition I entered into, but it is what it is. Excuse me. It was a fun show. I definitely, again, I'll just throw this bang right out there. I think that the people who put together the show itself, I think they did the right thing in acknowledging the whole, you know, black people not being nominated controversy, but I think they just ran that acknowledgement into the ground. It got really, really just irrelevant up to a point, I think. I mean, I don't know how I should comment on this, but there's a comment that Chris Rock made where he said that, you know, back in the 60s, if we weren't nominated here, it's because we had bigger problems to be dealing with, right? Fair enough. That kind of illustrates the point here that, yeah, what we're talking about here is Oscars. Awards given out to actors. You know, is it really that big of an issue? Now, let's take a look at some of the people who won in the Oscars this year. Mexican won the Best Cinematography Award for the 3rd year in a row. Mexican won Best Director of the Year. An Italian man who can't even speak English won the Best Score of the Year. But of course it's different when people start looking at colour and not nationality. And yes, there definitely is racism out there, and it definitely is a problem, but I think that the whole controversy just didn't hold much water for me personally. I didn't see any performances last year that I thought was so great from a black man or a black woman that I thought, wow, that's Oscar worthy. And that's all there is to it. Michael Caine said it best: you shouldn't give an award to a black actor because he's a black actor. You should give an award to a black actor if he was that good. I'm paraphrasing, that's what he said. Right. So I just thought that some of the stuff with Chris Rock, you know, it was funny at first, but it just went too far. Ali G was a highlight, and I just thought, what is he doing? Why is he bringing that back? But I tell you what, he cracked me up big time, against my own will, because I'm really not a big fan of Sacha Baron Cohen. But man, the Minions joke, and just calling Idris Elbow, I thought just was hilarious. So that was a highlight. But let's just go quickly through all the awards. Visual effects went to Ex Machina. I really wish I had picked that, but it was what it was. Usually they go for the bigger movie, like Interstellar or something like that, but I don't know. For me, The Force Awakens is absolutely deserving of the award, but fair enough for Ex Machina. It was, you know, there was some great visual effects in that. Film editing, I got right Mad Max Fury Road, and that was the rightful winner. Costume design, I got Mad Max Fury Road again. I'm glad I picked that. I was getting a bit worried when they showed the clips, and it was like Cinderella with these gorgeous dresses. I was like, ah, shit, but it won. Makeup and hairstyling, this is where I started to get completely off base. I went for The Revenant on this one. It got Mad Max won that one. It won a shit ton of awards. Best cinematography was definitely going to be The Revenant. I got that one right, and it was rightfully so, though I still think Macbeth should have been in contention. I'm glad Sicario got a nomination for that. Best production design, I went for The Revenant again, and Mad Max Fury Road won that one. So I'm not sure who really should have won that rightfully. There was a lot of great films with a lot of great production design. So, you know, I'm happy for Mad Max. And again, Mad Max was a film that I loved, but I didn't think it was as great as everyone else said, because everyone else was saying it was a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, you know. But I'm really happy that it won a load of awards, and I was really thinking in the early part of the show that we were going to see a clean sweep. We were going to see it win Best Director, Best Picture. But after it started to calm down a bit, I thought, wow, no, they're getting these technical awards, you know, which is definitely worthy of something. And as I said earlier, it was great to see, you know, the Aussies kind of coming out and really showing how much they appreciated to be winning these Oscars, but also kind of letting loose a little bit as well, and not really giving a crap about being Hollywood about it. Best sound mixing and sound editing went to Mad Max Fury Road. I got the right pick for sound editing, but I chose The Revenant for sound mixing. I still think that it had a lot of great sound mixing, but for me, I would have given both awards of sound to The Force Awakens. The best song, I was a bit worried when I saw the Lady Gaga performance. I was like, well, they're going to give it to this one because it's about issues, you know, which are absolutely valid, by the way, but it always seems to be, you know, they seem to pick things because of the message, not because of the quality of the film. But they went with The Writings on the Wall, Sam Smith, Spectre, and he made a right tit of himself by saying that he's the first openly gay man to win an Oscar, when there have been gay people winning Oscars since, openly gay people winning Oscars since the 90s with Elton John, so he has made a complete tit of himself there. But I didn't watch his speech, and I had no horse in that race whatsoever. So well, I got it right, and that's it. Best original score. I thought all scores were great in this one, but particularly The Force Awakens, which I thought was an amazing, fantastic score and definitely should have won. But Ennio Morricone got it for The Hateful Eight. I don't really agree with it. I thought his score was brilliant. I loved it. It was a great score, but I would say that it probably only makes up about half, if not just over half, of the actual soundtrack itself of The Hateful Eight. You know, there's not that much music that he brought to the film. Now again, this man is 87 years old, and the film itself is 3 hours long. But it was great for what it was, and I suppose you shouldn't really argue that quantity should matter more than quality. But I don't know, for me, there's more there in the Force Awakens score that impresses me, that lights my soul up when I listen to it, as opposed to Ennio Morricone's score, which is perfect for the film. But I kind of feel like this is their honorary award to Ennio Morricone, and it was probably the last time you're ever going to get a chance to give him an Oscar. He never won one before. He's one of the greatest film composers of all time, and it was a nice moment. You could see he was getting emotional, you know, And I loved that he said, you know, credit to the other composers, but particularly John Williams. And so it was really fucking cool to see two of the absolute greatest film composers that have ever lived, John Williams, Ennio Morricone, 84 years old, 87 years old respectively, up for an Oscar. I mean, it was really between those two guys, and so it was great. And at the end of the day, we all get the great score. You know, the Oscars, that they don't mean that much at the end of the day. The animated short film, the live action short film, the documentary short film, seen none of them. There's hardly any way to see them except for World of Tomorrow, which I thought should have won. But again, I haven't seen Bear Story, so I don't know. Bear Story won Best Animated Short Film, Stutterer won Best Live Action Short Film, and the Best Documentary Short Subject was A Girl in the River, The Price of Forgiveness. Best Documentary Feature was Amy, which I was very happy about. I thought it was a fantastic film, but I haven't seen the other three. I've seen What Happened Miss Simone, which was very good but not great, and Amy, which was fantastic, so I'm really happy that they won that. But I have a feeling that The Look of Silence is probably a better film, which is kind of typical with Best Documentary Feature. They usually just go with the most happy, well, not again, I said that before, it's not like Amy is a happy documentary, but it has a feel-good aspect to it in terms of, you know, yeah, you know, she died, but we've made this great film about her life that represents her well, warts and all, as the person she was, and it won an Academy Award. There's a feel-good, you know, bittersweet ending to that story there, I think. So that's why I think that won. Best Foreign Language Film, Son of Saul, as expected. I got that one right. I really want to see all of them, but Mustang was a great film. Best Animated Feature, Inside Out, of course, but all of them were great. I'm really happy though, because Pete Docter, one of my favourite directors, so happy for him to get, I think, another Oscar. Did he get one for Up? He must have. Best Adapted Screenplay, The Big Short, as I knew was going to happen. I would have gone for Room on that one, really. Room was a lot better than the other films. Best Original Screenplay was Spotlight. I don't know if I would have gone for Inside Out on that one. I really think that is just the best film of 2015. It should have gotten more than it did, but Spotlight was fantastic. Best Supporting Actress, Alicia Vikander, definitely deserved. I would have been happy with Rooney Mara, though she was a lead performance, as was Alicia Vikander. So we got a Best Supporting Actress who won for a film where she was the lead, basically. She was the lead along with Eddie Redmayne, but hey, if she gets an Oscar for it, that's fantastic, and a great speech, and she's a great actress. Best Supporting Actor, this was the big bombshell for me. Stallone didn't get it. I wonder if his comments about boycotting the Oscar worked against him. It felt like the feel-good moment, you know, that he just, you know, after all these years, he was nominated for the original Rocky. What a comeback it would be. But it wasn't to be. It was Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies. I personally would have picked Tom Hardy as the best out of the bunch. Christian Bale, Mark Ruffalo, fantastic. Sylvester Stallone, fantastic. Mark Rylance, he was only in a 2.5-hour film for about 15 to 20 minutes. And I said, you know, how can he win? But I thought about it, and his presence is felt throughout the whole film, and it's a fantastic performance that I did love. I thought he was brilliant in the film. And fair enough, and his speech was brilliant. He, you know, he thanked the other actors and stuff, and he just seemed so humbled by it, and he just seemed happy to be there, you know. And so fair play to him. He definitely deserved it. It was a fantastic performance, and I shouldn't let the running time of his actual appearance factor into my opinion on it. Best actor to Leonardo DiCaprio, as expected. I preferred Fassbender's performance. I think a bit more of a, not believable, but like, I don't know. I thought Leo was great, I really did, but at the same time I need to start charging my camera, so I'll get back to you in a second. Alright, back in the room. Oh, I should tilt the camera up slightly there. There we go, you can see my lovely green screen behind me, which I won't be using for this video. Right, yes, Best Actor. I thought Leo was great in The Revenant, fantastic, but I think that he's given better performances in his career that he should have won for at the time. Does he deserve it for The Revenant? Absolutely. It was a great performance. It was a great speech. You know, standing ovation because of how ridiculous it's been that he hasn't won one yet. But at the same time, I always try and judge it on, am I watching a character or someone acting? And I felt like I was watching Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant act more than I did with, say, Michael Fassbender in Steve Jobs. There were times where I felt like I was seeing him act too, but for the most part he took me along that 3-act ride as Steve Jobs to that brilliant conclusion, and I just preferred his performance. That's all there is to it. Eddie Redmayne was very good, more so as the film was moving on. The first 10 minutes or so of The Danish Girl, I really didn't like Eddie Redmayne. He just kind of made me uncomfortable for some reason. But once he started to become the woman, I really enjoyed that performance. Matt Damon I thought was fantastic in The Martian. I just don't think it's Oscar level, you know, worthy, even though he moved me a lot towards the end of the film when he gets quite emotional. Bryan Cranston as Trumbo, it was very, very, very good. I enjoyed it a lot, but it just not worthy, I think, of an Oscar. Now, for me, the best actor of 2015 was in the room that night. He was on the stage that night, and that was Jason Segel. The end of the tour. I know hardly anyone, if anyone, would agree with me on this, but for me, he was the best actor of 2015 that I've seen so far. Because I was absolutely watching David Foster Wallace on the screen. You know, it could have been almost a documentary to me. I didn't feel like I was watching Jason Segel act in that film. I felt like I was watching this person, and I became invested in this person, and the words that he said affected me. Affected the way I looked at my life. That's acting. You know, that's a great performance, you know. It's just a shame that film just didn't seem to click, didn't seem to take off, didn't seem to obviously have the money behind it to push him into contention for this, and he wouldn't have won anyway, so... But that's just my thoughts on it. Best Actress, whew, Brie Larson won it, thank God. I mean, Cate Blanchett is a fantastic actress, but we've had a run of the past couple of years, for me, of very good performances winning over great performances, meaning, what's her name? Julianne Moore for Still Alice and Cate Blanchett for Blue Jasmine. Both great films, both very, very good performances. But not as good as some of the other ones I've seen. You know, for me last year, Felicity Jones was better in The Theory of Everything. The year before that, when Blue Jasmine won, I think it should have been Brie Larson that year for Short Term 12 for 2013. So it's almost, for me, I kind of take this as a little, right, this is for Room and Short Term 12, you know, because she definitely deserved to be up for something for that, for Short Term 12 back in 2013, Brie Larson. But now, again, she's rode the wave of the success of Room into winning these awards, and it's great because she was probably the best actress of 2015 that I have seen. But I will say, I would have been happy with Saoirse Ronan winning. I thought that she was, again, subtly brilliant in Brooklyn because I didn't really feel like I was watching an actress. And that's what I love. I've said this before, I'll say it again. When I see a performance where the person isn't screaming, they're not shouting, they're not crying, they're not bawling, they're not angry, they're not fighting, and they still affect me emotionally by their performance, and obviously my cat is just not going to shut up, so you have to deal with that. That's when it's the best for me. Because, yeah, I mean, there are performances where you have to go to those depths, you have to dig deep, you have to scream and shout and make it believable, and hit that audience in the chest with that drama. And that is a great performance, but I'm more impressed when you don't go to that well, and yet you still convince me enough that I get completely taken away with the film. And I kind of felt that a bit more from Saoirse Ronan, I think. I'm not sure. But Brie Larson, I think, it definitely was the best of 2015, and so I'm really happy about that. I'm glad Jennifer Lawrence didn't win. I mean, I'm sure Joy is great. In fact, Joy, I think, is the only major film from the entire Oscars that I haven't seen. And I'm sure she's great in that, but it feels now like the annual Jennifer Lawrence nomination for an Oscar in a film where she's very good. You know, Silver Linings Playbook, I'll go along with, definitely. American Hustle, she was good, but I mean, you know, and it's just like, okay, now she's in the next, what's his name, David O. Russell film, so that's just, is that his name? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's his name. Anyway, yeah, I feel like we're just going to keep seeing this on repeat, you know, Jennifer Lawrence every year. Because it is good for the PR. It is, you know, it's one of those things where this is kind of a popularity contest, you know. As soon as the red carpet stuff was starting, you see all these tweets like, who's the best dressed, who's the worst dressed, all this, you know, what you're wearing, all that stuff. It's very much about image and things like that, and, you know, I'm sure she's great in Joy. I'm just saying, I'm glad she didn't win. Charlotte Rampling, I would have been happy with because she was fantastic in 45 Years. And Cate Blanchett was great in Carol, just not, you know. And again, Rooney Mara was the star of that film. She was the main character. Even though Carol is Cate Blanchett, you know, it's more about the girl who, I don't know. But I was happy with Brie Larson winning. And I spouted on far too long. I really want to make this a quick video, I guess. I can't really do that. I have a lot of opinions. Then we have Best Director. I got this one right as well. Alejandro G. Inarritu for The Revenant. George Miller was up for Mad Max. I would have been happy with that, but I don't know. I guess Lenny Abrahamson would have been my pick for Room, really, because I just thought Room was so great, you know. Mad Max, yeah, great visually and stuff, but Room hit me harder. So, as loud as Mad Max was, Room hit me harder. The Revenant, again, it's one of these things where I'm just saying all these films are great, but some of them I just don't think are that great, you know. The Revenant I definitely think was overrated. It's still like a 9 out of 10 film. It's still fantastic, some great performances. You know, Tom Hardy, I think, should have won Best Supporting Actor because he was the best of the bunch in that one. And definitely better, in my opinion, Tom Hardy was better in The Revenant than Leo was. But definitely worthy of winning, you know. And again, here we go, a Mexican director winning Best Director 2 years in a row. And people talk about diversity. And I know it's not the same, but still. And I liked his speech. And finally we have Best Picture, which to me was a big shock. It isn't a big shock in general, but I was sure that it was locked in for The Revenant. I was sure that they were going to go for that one. But it went to Spotlight. The Big Short, I you know, didn't really need to be there, I don't think. It was a very good film, but not great. Bridge of Spies is worthy of being there for sure, but I don't think it should have won. Brooklyn, definitely worthy of being there, and no, I don't think it would have been a worthy winner though. Mad Max, I think it's great that it was even acknowledged, you know, because for me, Mad Max, or should I say The Revenant, I feel like The Revenant was made for the Oscars, you know. Obviously, there was creative, you know, reasons for making that film. I am not in any way, shape or form saying that Alejandro Inarritu or Leo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy, all the people who worked on it, I'm not saying that they were like, right, let's make an Oscar-winning film. But I do feel like the producers are like, right, let's push this for the Oscars, you know. Mad Max, not the case. Not the case. I don't feel like anyone involved in the making of Mad Max was thinking, let's get this push for the Oscars. Now, obviously, somewhere along the way that happened, but, you know, this is a case where Mad Max came out like a couple of months after last year's Oscars, and it still had that power to be remembered now, which for the Oscars is not, you know, it's pretty rare. Most of the films you see don't even come out until the year after, you know. Most of the films at the Oscars, you know, that get praised, oh, the best films of 2015, they came out in like early 2016 because they're releasing it just in time for the Oscars, you know. So for me, I think it's an absolute triumph that Mad Max won 6 Oscars and that it won, that it was nominated for Best Picture and Best Director when it wasn't really a film that was really kind of made for the Oscar season. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I just thought it was pretty cool. The Martian, I'm glad it was there, but it was never going to win. The Revenant, which I thought was going to win, and then Room. Room would have been a great win. I definitely think Room out of that bunch is the best film. But Spotlight was fantastic too. For me, Spotlight, I don't feel like it's a film that particularly is, you know, it's more, I know there's a lot of moving parts to it, but I didn't feel that impressed by Spotlight in terms of the filmmaking, in terms of the direction, in terms of all these things that stand out in the other films perhaps, apart from the screenplay and the acting. It is an acting masterclass, it is, you know, a screenplay masterclass, but also it's an important film. It's a really important film. So I am glad that it won. I wish The Revenant would have won because I would have got my pick right and I probably would have won some money from this staff competition. Because that wiped me out once I got Best Picture wrong, it definitely did. But worthy win, a worthy win, and if Spotlight winning gave us the moment of Michael Keaton strutting down to the stage going, fuck yeah. Audibly being like, fuck yeah, man. And then he's got a cookie in his mouth at the end, he's like shaking hands with Chris Rock, and Michael Keaton just stole that without saying a word. You know, we hadn't seen him all night, and there he was, just, fuck yeah, man, and he's there with Chris Rock eating cookies. Michael fucking Keaton, man. Brilliant, just brilliant, you know. Just reminds me of last day. Hey, I'm just happy to be here, you know, like, Michael Keaton, man, he's just the man. So Spotlight, a worthy win, definitely. You know, the film was important, the acting was top notch, the screenplay was top notch, but I think that Room was a better film. I would even hazard to say that The Revenant was a better film, but Spotlight was more important, and I would say Spotlight has, you know, in terms of quantity, more great performances than the other films, I suppose, and that, you know, it's a great ensemble cast. So that's my thoughts on the Oscars. Yeah, the highlights were probably Ali G saying Idris Elba, Michael Keaton, fuck yeah, and that's it really. I'm gutted that Force Awakens won nothing. I definitely think it should have won something for visual effects. I definitely think that John Williams should have won. It's great to see the droids out there. That's a fun little bit. But, you know, it was what it was. And The Force Awakens, yeah, that's the thing you all need to remember. Anyone who gets upset about these Oscars, it don't change anything. You know, is it really going to make any difference to you as a viewer of films? It ain't. It really isn't, you know. Is it going to be more satisfying to you to put The Force Awakens on your TV, put the Blu-ray on top of the shelf, above the TV as you're watching it, and every time you're watching the film, you look up and you go, oh, look, see? It says winner of 5 Oscars up there. Yeah, it doesn't give you any more enjoyment, you know. Same with other films that or actors that you thought deserved it, you know. Yeah, it's a shame because there can only be one winner, but, you know, it was alright. It was alright. It was a good Oscars this year. There wasn't too many what? You know, there was a couple, but not many. And for the most part, I agree with everything. And we all just get great films to watch, and that is probably the most important thing. So, thank you for watching. It's all over for another year. I still haven't made my top 50 films of 2015. Let me know. Let me know. You happy to see that like in another month? Because I got more 2015 films I want to watch. I don't know if I'm going to give up yet. It's really like a test of my own endurance and patience, and you know, missing the boat. I've missed the boat anyway for making my top films of 2015 because everyone does it at the end of the year, but I just don't. I need to go back and look at everything and watch all the films I didn't get a chance to see throughout the year. So I don't know yet how that's going to work, and I think I'm literally gonna, because I usually every year I make a video called 2014 in cinema. 5 to 8 minute video, like music video, using clips from all the best films of the year with music and stuff, and I love doing it. But usually every year I have it done before the Oscars. I haven't even really started work on it yet, but I want to do it. But I want to include certain things from The Force Awakens, from other films that aren't out yet, to buy on Blu-ray and rip the footage and stuff. So I think I'm honestly going to wait until April to do that, and use those scenes from The Force Awakens that I want to, and make it as best I possibly can. It's going to be completely irrelevant by the time it comes out, but I think I'm going to do it that way. And I'll have more time in April to do it as well. And I've even thought of going back and doing it for other years, you know, like, you know, 1980 in cinema or something like that. I don't know, I'd love to kind of do one for every year. Obviously that's a lot of work, but that's my update anyway on my kind of end of year stuff that's going on well into the next year. It is what it is. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, my thoughts on the Oscars. Let me know what your thoughts were. And yeah, try not to get too opinionated again. I hate to discuss the whole Oscars controversy and stuff like that, but you know, it was right there, and I had to comment on it. And I just thought that they leaned on it a little bit too much, I think. And were making, I don't know, I felt like they were making more of a deal out of it than needed to be made. Because, you know, as far as I'm concerned, Lupita Nyong'o won an Oscar 2 years ago because she was the best actress in that category, you know. Did they not give it to her then? No, they didn't. They nominated her and they gave the award to her. Other black actors have won awards. I just, you know, that's just all. And I haven't seen Beast of No Nation, so I don't know how great Idris Elba was in that film. But, you know, I should probably just stop talking. But I trust you, my core viewers, to understand where I'm coming from, and not to jump onto any little thing I might have said that might possibly put me in a bad light when it comes to this whole debacle. But I just think it's overblown, and I don't think it really. I mean, it was Ice Cube, who was on the Graham Norton show, and just summed it up perfectly, and just said, you know, making films, getting them out to the audiences, that's the thing. That's the great thing about this. Awards and stuff, it's like complaining about not having icing on your cake, extra icing on your cake. You know, you still got the cake. And so there you go. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.
So you might say he's a really nice guy, really, but if fucking don't cut shit with me. He says he's really cool, but I think he's a tool.